We are following breaking news right now at the Mall of America, where there is a large police presence. We have not been able to confirm what happened to cause that police presence, what caused the lockdown, but in the last 10 minutes, the mall did tell us and confirm that they are in fact on lockdown. And we've been seeing a lot of these videos on social media right now showing people running from the mall for safety. Some also show police officers with rifles and long guns walking around. And just a few minutes ago, we spoke to a mall employee on the phone who says they turned off the lights in their store. They are huddled behind things to stay safe right now and are waiting for the all clear from police. They say they didn't hear any gunshots or didn't hear anything, so they're all kind of waiting inside the mall right now for the clear. We just got Sky 11 up overhead the Mall of America right now. Super difficult to make out if anything from this vantage point right now, but we're going to keep that shot up for a little bit. When we learn more, we're going to tell you. We have crews on their way right now to the mall, and we will bring you news as we get it throughout the newscasts here. I'm certain things will come in. So you can get the latest in the KARE 11 app and online and on KARE11.com, of course, as we continue coverage here. For now, we're going to go to tonight's top story, and it's monkeypox, now a public health emergency in the U.S. Federal health officials made that announcement just a few hours ago. And cases of monkeypox are on the rise here in Minnesota as well. 44 so far, with 10 of those cases, and just reported yesterday. Heidi Wigdahl is in the newsroom tonight with what health officials are now saying. Hey, Heidi.
Hi, Chris. Nationwide, there have been more than 6,600 reported cases, making up 25% of confirmed infections worldwide. Declaring it as a public health emergency should help with getting vaccines and treatments out more quickly to those impacted. Here in Minnesota, public health officials are trying to raise awareness around monkeypox, saying they're worried we're missing cases.
We can help them feel better and help reduce the risk to others.
At the center of Minnesota's monkeypox response is Hennepin County's Red Door, a sexual health clinic in Minneapolis. Staff here have diagnosed the majority of monkeypox cases in the state, including the first reported case from June 24th.
We want to make sure people know that we're here for them and they don't need to suffer.
So far, most of the cases they've seen have been mild with no hospitalizations. A majority of the cases they've treated were spread through sexual contact.
We're seeing it spread with that close, intimate skin-to-skin contact, or people who live together, share towels, beddings, beverages, have a lot of prolonged contact. So I'm not worried about your general risks from going to the grocery store or being in the community.
People often have flu-like symptoms and skin lesions. They can be anywhere on the body, but staff here have seen them mostly on or around the genitals.
It's important to know that anyone can get monkeypox. But it just so happens it's circulating right now among men who are sexual with men.
We're really worried about the stigma that's being attached to our patients and people that may be in the LGBTQ communities. I want to be very clear that monkeypox doesn't care how you identify or who you have sex with.
But with there being a limited supply of monkeypox vaccine, the clinic is focused on giving it to those at a higher risk, like people who have had a known exposure.
As it starts spreading, and if it spreads more, that becomes more challenging. We haven't seen this, and we don't want to have to keep seeing this. We don't want this to be one more thing on people's worry list.
Treatment is usually around pain management. If you think you may be having symptoms, call or come into the clinic. They recommend if you have lesions to cover them, isolate, wear your mask, and get seen as soon as possible. Chris.
All right. Thank you, Heidi. After more than 2 years of calls for a new approach to public safety, the Minneapolis City Council approved its first ever Community Safety Commissioner. Kaya Edwards joins us now with what we know about Dr. Cedric Alexander, this new position, and the heated debate over the confirmation today. Hi, Kaya.
Hi there, Chris. Mayor Jacob Frey nominated Alexander for the role, but before the vote to appoint him, some council members expressed concerns. Dr. Cedric Alexander is Minneapolis's first Community Safety Commissioner.
Today is a historic day in the city of Minneapolis.
Leading up to the vote, some council members shared their support for the mayor's nominee, who spent over 4 decades working in law enforcement in several other states.
He's the best person I can imagine in this role right now.
But council member Aisha Chugtai says she grew concerned at a public hearing with Alexander this week.
I'll speak briefly about the allegations from a subordinate that were made about unwanted sexual advances. I think about what message we would be sending to victims in our city if the head of our police force and public safety wouldn't even respond honestly and meaningfully to questions about his own past conduct.
There is zero allegation of either assault or violence.
I'm also not voting in favor of Dr. Alexander today. It's a reflection of the lack of clarity that I still have, that I believe the public still have about what is this role.
Let me just clear that lack of clarity up. This is our very first commissioner of the Office of Community Safety. This is the person that will oversee the coordination and integration of all of the services from 911 to Minneapolis Police to fire to the Office of Violence Prevention and Emergency Management.
Councilmember Jeremiah Ellison gets involved.
I'll address the mayor directly. I'm noticing a pattern that council members often Chuck Tie and Wansley cannot express an opinion without a retort.
Yes, opinions can get a retort. You are able to speak up, I am able to speak up. That's the nature of democracy.
Ultimately, while 8 voted yes, 3 voted no, and 2 abstained. Alexander starts Monday and will serve a 4-year term. Chris?
Interesting debate there. I haven't heard these allegations at all, and I'm wondering if they exist or not. And we'll have to dig a little deeper into that, Kaya.
Yep, we heard both things, that there were and there weren't. So.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much. Minneapolis City Council also approved a controversial redesign plan for Hennepin Avenue. The plan would add wider sidewalks and separated bike lanes on Hennepin from Douglas to Lake. It also calls for part-time bus lanes operating a minimum of 6 hours a day, preserving parking spaces the rest of the time. Now, some neighbors are worried about the lack of parking, while others say bus lanes should run 24/7. Mayor Jacob Frey is no longer on the sidelines in a hotly contested congressional primary. Frey today endorsed former city councilman Don Samuels in his quest to unseat incumbent Democrat Ilhan Omar in the 5th congressional district. Frey was joined by 4 mayors of suburbs that also lie within that district. They are Jake Spano of St. Louis Park, Jim Hovland of Edina, Shep Harris of Golden Valley, and Kathy Hemken of New Hope. Frey.
And I'm going to Congress to partner with Mayor Frey and the other mayors. We're going to hold hands across our jurisdictions, and I'm going to bring resources here, provide what they need.
Frey's endorsement isn't a total surprise because Omar endorsed his top 2 opponents in the mayor's race last year, and Frey's campaign manager has been managing the Samuels campaign. Former Brooklyn Center Police Chief Tim Gannon is suing the city. He claims city officials forced him to resign when he didn't immediately fire Kim Potter, the former officer who shot and killed Daunte Wright. All this happened back in April of 2021. In the lawsuit, Gannon also says his race played a role. Tonight, U.S. basketball star Brittany Griner is starting her 9-year prison sentence on drug charges in Russia. Authorities found less than a gram of cannabis oil in her luggage at a Moscow airport while she was trying to leave the country. She was found guilty of drug possession and smuggling earlier today. Griner called it an honest mistake. Tonight, President Biden is calling the sentence, quote, unacceptable. He also calls on Russia to immediately release Griner. As we mentioned, U.S. officials are trying to work out a prisoner exchange with Russia involving Griner. Big update tonight on the deadly police shooting of Breonna Taylor. Federal charges have now been filed against 4 Louisville police officers in connection to her death. There are several accusations, including that police falsified an affidavit and misled investigators looking into the 2020 botched no-knock raid that led to Taylor's death.
Well, because of Breonna Taylor, we can say this is a day that black women saw equal justice in the United States of America.
That's right.
She's looking down from heaven.
2 of the officers charged have already been fired, and the Louisville Police Department says it's looking to fire the 2 others. In just 20 minutes on Nightly News, are your kids safe in the metaverse? It's a virtual reality space where kids can interact with avatars in a largely unregulated area, and grown-ups can have a hard time monitoring and navigating it. NBC's Kate Snow chatted with a mom who says her 12-year-old son has heard offensive, sexually explicit, and even racist language.
Does it concern you what he's hearing?
In the beginning, it did concern me. And to a certain extent, of course, it continues to concern me. But I know I can't necessarily limit or eliminate him from playing these games because he'll find a way somehow to get back into them. So I'd rather approach this issue through communication and building trust.
What parents should know about the potential darker side of the metaverse. It's coming up at 5:30. Inflation is impacting the price of just about everything, including school supplies, and that's led to an increase in the need for help. In fact, one local nonprofit says that need this year is unprecedented. Here's Morgan Wolf.
We're seeing a lot of requests this year for composition books.
As kids might be getting excited to go back to school.
The lunch boxes here, those are something that we run out of each and every year.
Some parents, they're getting anxious.
We had to close registration.
Kathleen Hess at the Community Thread says they're going to be relying on the community to help them help students in need of supplies.
We have 550 students on our list and an additional 40 students already on our waiting list.
They aren't the only ones needing school supplies.
We know that it's not uncommon for teachers to spend maybe $500 of their own paychecks.
Community Thread's Stuff the Bus campaign allows them to create a teacher kit to help them out too.
When one rises, we all rise together.
If you have the means, Kathleen says it could change lives.
So many other expenses come along with it that this is certainly not the only spoke to the wheel.
Morgan Wolf reporting there. The fastest way to get resources in your area for help is to call your local school district. United Way is another resource that's able to connect you with nonprofit organizations. Some good news for people looking to buy a home. Mortgage rates have dropped for the second week in a row. This is the first time since April that the rates have been less than 5%. Now that's still high, but it's better than the start of the year when rates began spiking. All right, back to our breaking news at the top of the show. Here's another live look over the Mall of America with Sky 11 right now in front of Nordstrom on that southwest corner of the mall. Right now, we know there's a large police presence there. The mall is on lockdown, that is confirmed. We've seen social media videos showing people running from the mall, officers with rifles walking around inside, but we do not quite know yet what happened inside there. We're working the phones. We have multiple crews on scene. We'll bring you more as soon as we know it. We'll be right back. All right, back at it. We got another live look over the Mall of America with Sky 11 right now outside Nordstrom in the northwest part of the Mall of America there. Again, we know there's a large police presence there. We know that the mall is on lockdown, and we've seen those social media videos that are showing people running from the mall. We just don't know what happened inside there yet. We have crews on the scene, and we want to get to one of those crews right now. I believe we have Morgan Wolf, who's outside the mall right now. Morgan, what are you seeing? What are you hearing? What can you confirm?
Well, it just sounds like this was a complete frenzy before 5 o'clock when people heard gunshots inside the mall. I spoke to someone that said she was inside DSW and heard them in the store next to her. So she got out okay with her son, but sadly her daughter is still inside the mall. And that mother said that her daughter texted her there are hundreds of people that are sheltered. Though is we haven't heard anything from police yet, so we don't know specifics of exactly what part of the mall this might have happened in or what they have going on at the moment. But another person told me that was leaving the mall that she came here right around 5 o'clock and tried to get into Nordstrom's, and they were on lockdown. So a lot of people are leaving. There are still some people that are heading towards the mall, but there is this confusion exactly of what's going on because we haven't had that confirmation from police. There are police cars I see outside of the building right now, and there's just a lot of people walking around talking to others saying, are you okay? You know, what did you hear? And hopefully we'll get some answers soon.
Yeah, and as you're talking there, Morgan, we're seeing some of these videos that people have posted online, and you can see police officers riding the escalators with their rifles drawn, which is shocking to people. And it's too familiar of a sight now, seeing large groups of people running from places like this. You said the DSW was right next door to where the shots were fired, but her daughter is still inside there? That's what you're hearing?
Yeah, so they believe that the shots might have came from the Nike store. They were inside the DSW. They ran from the DSW to get outside, but her daughter is still inside right now. And then there was another mother, and Chris, I know that you have kids, and your heart kind of breaks when you hear stuff like this. Another mother told me that she just grabbed her 2-year-old and her 4-year-old and just sprinted. And so just a very chaotic, like I said, a total frenzy here at the Mall of America right now, as there are reports that shots were fired inside, according to people that I spoke to.
All right. Morgan Wolf, thank you so much for that live report. As soon as we have any more information, again, we will bring it to you as soon as we get it, but we want to make sure we're right on this, so we're going to get things confirmed on this. And again, we appreciate the report from Morgan Wolf there. Needless to say, we'll have more on KARE11.com and, of course, here on the air. Let's transition to weather, though. It's a hard transition to make because of how serious and the emergency happening there right now. But people are concerned about that, too, and we don't want to...
Right. So there is obviously less serious, but a lot of stuff going on in weather at the moment. And the first of those is the drought situation that we've kind of been tracking, and it has been expanding and worsening over the last couple of weeks. And here's what we have today. What you see here is more of that orange color, more of the severe drought that encompasses a bigger part of the metro and areas just to the southwest of it. That is has expanded from the previous week. When we look at comparing this week to last week and last year, that's where we can see just a little bit of an expansion there. Certainly not to where we were in through last year when the drought was widespread and very intense. What we have going on right now is just this kind of slow, steady expansion. But good news, there is rain on the way, and it looks like some significant rain headed into the weekend. Today, absolutely gorgeous outside, pretty near seasonal levels. 61 this morning, felt a little on the cool side, but we've warmed up nicely, 83 degrees and low dew points at the moment. So what we can anticipate then throughout the day tomorrow. So this is looking at the heat index in orange, the actual temperature forecast in blue, and then the dew points in green. So a lot going on here, but you'll notice it's just slightly more sticky tomorrow, not overly humid, but a little on the muggy side. Temperatures are up into the 90s, and at that peak time, there's not a whole lot of a heat index added. Again, it's not super sticky outside, so we'll add a couple degrees to the forecast of 92 degrees. Even within the Twin Cities area, we could see some areas a little bit higher, 93, 94, 95, but 92 I think will be kind of that main widespread number for us. It's also on the breezy side for us tomorrow, with the dew points kind of rising in again to the low 60s. 92 is the forecast tomorrow, below advisory threshold, so no advisories issued at this time. Then what we're looking at is this weekend rain, which does have the potential to bring some significant and meaningful rain to us. Here's the timing of it all. Friday, 6 o'clock, and the line of storms well off into northwestern Minnesota. But overnight, that line sags south, and we wake up to scattered rain showers, some thunder as well on Saturday morning. Not anticipating severe at this time, but once we get into the afternoon, could be some stronger storms down in southern Minnesota. You'll notice it's still raining here at 5 o'clock. Fast forward into Sunday morning. This front kind of just remains very stationary over us for the entire weekend, so that keeps rain in the forecast through much of Sunday as well. Cloudy, had to lower temperatures, of course, because of that extension of the rain. So Sunday looks a little cooler right now at just 74 degrees, a far cry from, again, the 92 for tomorrow. The good news of following all this rain as well is that as the sun comes back out on Monday, it stays on the cool side. Dew points stay low, very tolerable, very comfortable all next week, even though it gets warm back up into the 80s.
Got another look over the Mall of America with Sky 11 right now, a little bit of a wider shot of the mall. It's hard to make out what's happening outside there, but we know through social media videos that inside there were a lot of people inside the mall who are running away from some kind of danger. We've heard from people inside the mall that we've spoken to on the phone confirming gunshot sounds inside the mall. There's a lot of speculation on social media right now that we have not confirmed, so we're not going to say that. But we did speak with an employee inside the mall who is not far from where those gunshots were fired. We have a soundbite for you right now.
I just had customers in the store. They were about to leave, and I just heard like 3-4 gunshots. They seemed to be really close, really near us, and we just ran to the back, and I locked the doors and shut the lights off, and yeah, everyone was running around.
Again, that's an employee of Steve Madden there, not far from the Nike store that we've heard reportedly that the shots may have been fired inside of. We're going to continue to follow this story. We're going to take a quick break. I'll be right back. All right, we're continuing to follow the breaking news at the Mall of America, where Bloomington police have confirmed there's an active incident, is what they call it, on the northwest side of the mall. A lot of police officers inside there. We are seeing videos, unconfirmed, but there's videos from inside the mall where you can hear multiple gunshots being fired in or around the Nike store there. We are waiting for updates from police to give you more information and facts on this right now. We'll have continuing coverage on KARE11.com and our YouTube channel. We do not have a 6.